Hello everyone, Lurgs here, and today I'll show you how to replace the rear indicator bulb on the Vauxhall Vivaro. And this should also be the same for the Renault Trafic, Fiat Talento and Nissan Primastar, which are virtually identical vans. And at the end we'll have a lovely cup of tea. If you've got a tailgate version, then lift the tailgate. If you've got barn doors like on this Vauxhall Vivaro, then open up the rear doors. And inside here you've got 3 Torx screws or Torx bolts. This Lurgs, he talks a good game. So you've got one here at the bottom, one in the middle and one at the top. So you're going to need a Torx bit set like this one here. And this particular one is size 30. I don't think that's 30 millimeters because that is massive, but it's size 30 in this Torx set. Now to give easier access, you can just gently pull this lever out, which releases the rear barn door, and that allows you to fold it out even further. Obviously you won't have this problem if you've got a tailgate. So let's undo the bottom one first. Once it starts moving, you can just twist it with your fingers. So let's remove these 3. And then put that somewhere safe. Now let's remove the middle one. I've already loosened this off with the socket wrench, so I can just gently unscrew it anti-clockwise with my fingers. Now don't worry about removing the last Torx bolt. The whole rear light cluster won't just fall on the floor, it is actually held in with some clips, and I'll show you that when we get to those. So now let's remove the 3rd and final one. Obviously we're removing the right hand rear tail cluster, and it'll be exactly the same procedure for the left hand side. So this is the final one to remove. Again, put that safely with the others. Right, now we can go about removing the actual whole cluster so we can get access to the bulbs inside. You can see at the moment it is slightly loose, but we can't remove it from this part. What I'm going to have to do is come around the outside and just gently prise it towards you as you're standing facing the side of the van. And it's got 3 metal clips, one at the top, one in the middle and one at the bottom. If you gently prise it out, it should just pop out like that. I'm going to close the door very gently. Don't want to trap anything. And that makes it easier to remove the whole cluster. Now at the moment the whole rear light cluster is just resting on the chassis. But just gently remove it off. Keep a good grip on it. You do not want to drop it on the floor because of the cable. So it's just a bit dusty in there. A few leaves and a bit of dirt and cobwebs, so I'll just give that a good clean while it's off. Now you can unplug the entire unit if you need to replace the whole unit, if there's something wrong with it. And you do that by unplugging this cable here, but we actually don't need to do that today because we're just going to be checking the bulbs and replacing the bulbs. Right, let's remove and replace the rear indicator bulb, and in this unit the indicator bulb is the bottom one here, so just turn it anti-clockwise about 45 degrees and then pull it out towards you. And it is an amber bulb, just remember that when you're replacing it you need to replace it like for like, so another amber bulb. Now to remove this bulb, gently push it downwards, then twist it anti-clockwise about 25 to 30 degrees and then it just pops out. And this has got offset pins. Let's just check the filament. This one is actually pretty good, but if that was burnt or blown, the filament would be kind of hanging around in the glass at the bottom. As I mentioned earlier, it's got offset pins. Remember that when you're reinstalling the brand new bulb. This is an example of a bulb that is actually blown, so the filament is all in the bottom of the glass. So I've got a replacement Lucas bulb here, which is a 12 volt 21 watt amber bulb, and this has got slightly offset pins. They're not completely parallel with each other, so again remember that when you're reinstalling a bulb. Make sure there's no corrosion inside there. If there is, give that a good clean. Some sandpaper and WD-40. So this has got slightly offset pins. Make sure it goes in the right way. Push it down and twist it to lock it into place. It's definitely worth testing before you put it all back together. So let's just see if that rear indicator is working, and it is. Fabulous. Right, we can reinstall that. Line it up with the empty grooves, the empty slots, push it and then twist it clockwise and lock it into place. Fabulous. Right, now we can reinstall the whole rear light cluster. You've got these metal clips here, so just line those up with the 3 holes on the side of the chassis. I'm doing this with one hand and filming it with the other, so it's a little bit tricky, but this will be much easier if you're using 2 hands. Line them up with the holes. Gently push it in and you'll hear it all just pop in nicely. Great stuff. Right, now gently open the rear door. If you had the tailgate version, the tailgate will already be up. And if we look here, it's already lined up, so we can get those Torx bolts back in and get this whole unit back into place. So we've got the 3 Torx bolts here. Let's get this first one in, just screwing it in clockwise. This one's a little bit dry, so I'm just going to put a bit of 3-in-1 oil on it. I always start them off gently. You don't want to cross thread anything, so just make sure that it goes in nice and easy. If it feels like it's not tightening up, then undo it and then try it again. This one's going in nice and easy. And once you've done them hand tight, you can take your socket wrench and just give it one last tighten. It doesn't have to be crazy tight. So that's all 3 Torx bolts nice and tight. Brilliant. Let's close that door. and then we'll do one final test and then have a lovely cup of tea. Let's just put the indicator on. Great stuff. I tell you what, that definitely deserves a lovely cup of tea. If you're going to be working on the Vauxhall Vivaro, definitely have a lovely cup of tea. I'll put some other useful Vauxhall Vivaro videos around the edge of the screen. I hope that was useful. Drive safe.